So today we're going to talk about floating forward and floating back. So in a sun salutation, you've probably heard me say in my previous classes, step or float back, or step or float forward. And there has been maybe one class that I kind of talked about it a little bit, but I really wanted to take the time to just focus on that so you understood what I mean when I say that, and then give you the option to work on it. So in your sun salutation, when you step back to do your chaturanga, you have the option to hop back. And then when you, from down dog, come back to that forward fold, again, you have the option to step forward or to float forward. So when you're hopping back into your chaturanga, that's going to require more strength. So you've probably seen this hop back in like a burpee where you land like this. I don't want you to land like that. I want you to land in chaturanga with bent elbows because it's just going to be better for your elbow joint. So we're putting a lot of weight onto those arms. So if you're keeping your arms straight, it's just going to be jarring for that elbow joint. So I really want you to land with bent elbows, if not all the way in that 90-degree chaturanga. Now that's going to take strength in your triceps. That's going to take core strength. So what I need you to be mindful of is if you float back and you're not quite strong enough for it, oftentimes we put a lot of stress on our low back and we kind of dip the low back and let our belly drop. So if you notice that when you're hopping back, you kind of go whoo in that low back, then maybe you're not quite ready. You can start by just taking light, short jumps back and then build towards that fully hopping back. So let me show you what that looks like. So from Tadasana, you take an inhale up, exhale, fold forward, inhale, half lift, and then you plant the hands and you try to float back and land in chaturanga. See how my elbows are bent? Good, and then you would flip the toes, come to up dog and to down dog. So I'm going to do that again for you. So from the top of the mat, you would inhale, arms up, exhale, fold forward, inhale, half lift, plant the hands, float back, land in chaturanga. So you want to try to let those feet come back and touch lightly to the ground. So it's pretty easy to let them just sort of stomp back there, but see if you can control how lightly you land into this. So it takes practice and finesse. So just make sure that when you float back, you don't feel your low back go like this. Wow. So if you feel that wow in the low back, that means that your core strength isn't quite built up enough and you're going to be causing yourself to have a sore low back. So practice if you need to do like little hop backs like this. Just try, whoop, and then eventually you can get all the way back. So that's what it means to float back. Now to float forward, at any point in your practice, you can try this. So you don't have to have it perfectly down to just try it and start building towards it. So, got my breath up with that chaturanga jump. Okay, so we're gonna start in down dog. So to float forward, you would look forward. I like to find a little bend in my knees. You're welcome to walk your feet up and wide a little. The idea is ultimately you hop forward into a handstand and then slowly drop the legs down. Now that's super, super advanced. I can't even do that. So just know that's kind of what you're going for. So when you hop forward, the idea is try to get those hips up over the shoulders and then pull the feet in. So you look forward, bend the knees, think about lifting your hips up and then pull the feet in. So I can't get my feet all the way up, so I have to walk it up a little bit afterwards. Let me do that again. So you inhale, look forward, bend the knees, and then exhale up and pull the feet in. So ideally, sometimes you can find a little hang time. Let's see if I can do it. Whoop, and pull the feet in. If you can't quite get those hips up that far, that's okay. You're just working on lifting. And then if those feet come here, you'll just walk them forward. So at any point in your practice, you can try hopping, and eventually you get those hips a little higher and can pull those feet in a little bit closer. And you're ultimately ending at the top of the mat to finish out your sun salutation. Whew! Jumping really gets your heart rate up. So if you want to incorporate that into your practice, it's a great way to get a little more cardio, to get that heart rate up. I'm sweating. So anytime you do a sun salutation, you have the option to add that float forward, float back, and it's up to your own discretion. I really want you to think about making sure that your wrists feel okay, your shoulders feel okay, and your low back feels okay. If you feel pain in those joints when you're doing this, you have to back off. So maybe slow it down, skip some, modify, just pace yourself according to your capacity of strength in the core and the triceps. And then eventually you build and get stronger and stronger, but it's not a competition. It's not a race. So just take it at your own pace. But that's a really fun thing to add into your class.